Okay, everyone, thanks for coming today to our session. It's a pleasure to talk to you again tonight. And here we have to Orlando in our meeting for today. Hi, Orlando, how's it going?
I'm going to good, sir. Thank you so much. And you, sir?
I'm pretty good. Well, how was your weekend, man?
Oh, well, was a very relaxed weekend because I spent a lot of time with my family. Well, so actually, I didn't do too much. So I tried to relax and spend time with my family. Was just a little bit TV, but I tried to spend a lot of time with my baby. Well, and my wife as well.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty good for you. That's because family is very important to dedicate time.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, it's pretty important.
Dedicate time to our family is very special for them, and of course for us as fathers.
Yep.
Or any kind of member of the family. So, Orlando, uh, tell me, man, I haven't seen you on the last two sessions. What has happened?
Oh well, sir. So in the first one, I I didn't have the internet connection because the climate condition was pretty poor. So a lot of raining, and well, we have just some trouble with the internet connection.
Oh yeah, yeah. There are some chemical problems that put away us from our sessions.
Yeah.
So that is not the most important. The most important is that you are here today, and I decided to start only with you that because we have to do this session today, almost with the students who want to join in. So I don't know what does it happen to Jessica and to Stella, but if they don't come today to our session, you'll have a task that is to make a summary about what we did today and send them the activity because they try to develop it for our next session. Got it?
Okay, sir. Got it.
Okay. So Orlando, our our session today is really simple. Yes, today
Yep.
we will do an exercise about listening and writing and of course speaking. Yes, it's a dictation activity. So
Okay.
the idea is that our today's session will last, of course, the usual time, but if only it's you, I guess it's not going to last at all. That's because, well, it's gonna be more easy. It's gonna be easier for us to
Yep.
develop the activity. Yeah.
Okay.
So Orlando, here I have the links of three audios on YouTube. So you have to choose one number from one to three.
And number two, sir.
The number two. Okay, that's a good number. So
Yep.
the activity is that you're gonna listen that video and please turn on the subtitles and you will write, yes, you will write what you hear in that audio.
Okay.
Okay, you will listen to it three times and you will write as much as you can to write it. Okay? So the video is about 4 minutes. I'm gonna give you 15 minutes starting from now, age 15, 8:30. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, Orlando, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please send me by the chat box your text, please.
Okay. Can you repeat me what do you need, sir?
The test. How many times did you check the writing and the speech?
3 times, sir.
3 times. Are you totally sure about what you did?
Well, yes, I'm sure, sir.
Okay, so now, according to this activity, the second part is pronounce the speech and later answer some questions, answer self-evaluation that I'm going to ask you, 5 questions about the activity today. So please, I listen to you. You're speaking about that speech.
Okay, sir. Well, I'm gonna start. This cake was the most difficult recipe I have ever made thus far. The batter was promising and really seemed to be hinting at a total winner. Then I removed it from the oven. First off, my home smelled like cake, but not heavenly as I had hoped. It looked okay, but not mouth-watering. The texture was okay, and the flavor was good, but certainly not better than the throw it all in a stir-type of cakes. Overall, I recommend this cake recipe to no one. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being incredible and 1 being dog food, I'd rate this a 3, almost a 2, almost a 2, because of the word evolved. Evolved.
Involved. Okay,
Evolved.
now you did good, but I need it better. So I need it faster. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
The idea is that you can emulate the intonation and the rhythm of the speech, and you can do it at all. Okay, come
Okay,
on.
okay. This cake was the most difficult recipe. Okay, sorry. This cake was the most difficult recipe I had ever made thus far. The batter was promising and really seemed to be hinting at a total winner. Then I removed it from the oven. First off, my home smelled like cake, but not heavily as I had hoped. I looked okay, but no mouth watering. The texture was okay, and the flavor was good, but certainly not better than the trolley old and stupid type of cakes. Overall, I recommend this cake recipe to no one. On a scale of 1 5, with 5 being incredible and 1 being doubtful, I rate this a 3, almost a 2, because of the work involved.
Okay, that was better. It was really better. So, the question after starting with self-evaluation is, what do you think about this speech?
Oh well, there is a lot of slang.
Yeah,
Because the first one I was confused with the butter. I was really bad at butter. It's a butter. No, it's not a butter. Better. I was just so confused with that. But then I have to relate that butter was promising all the contest. Oh no, my goodness, that is pretty difficult. But I didn't relation the first sentences with the second sentences. Oh my goodness, what's mean that? But it's an slang. But I'm not sure what really means that. The better was promising and really seemed to be hinting at a total winner. I believe maybe she was talking about that maybe she was expecting that the cake was good, or maybe and the manner she was thinking about that. You're right. Is
yeah.
is is right
The
or
first, yeah, it's good. The first thinking from the other students, the first reaction was, "What is this speech talking about?" Yes,
yeah?
you can engage the ideas from the first time, from the first listening. That's because you only can know the topic. Yes, but when you go listening, listening, and listening, and you go writing, you say, "Ah, okay, I got it now." So it's a little difficult to understand a speech uh, if you don't start from a previous idea. Yes, for example, I would say you this speech is going to talk you about a food. Yes, and you
Yeah.
will say, oh, okay, 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 it will be easier. But I didn't say you the topic of the speech, and I guess that you were confused at the first time, but uh, when you have reading about the 70% of the speech, you could understand it better. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm happy for you. Now, let's start for of the five question for of the self evaluation. Yes.
Okay.
Our first question is, what was the most difficult when listening the speech?
Well, the more difficult was the second part. So the second sentence specifically.
The second sentence.
Yeah. So
Okay. Why?
uh,
Did you listen it two or three or four times?
well, I I read it the first one, but then I repeated the audio. I asked me, so what she means. So in the second sentence, because I cannot make a relation in the first sentences with the third sentences. My goodness, was mean that that maybe that was the most difficult. I was really confused, but then I continued and I say, maybe this is an slang because there is no a really relation in both.
Okay, now the second one question is, what were the easiest words of the speech?
Well, the most easier. Mm, well, maybe the first one was pretty easy. The first one sentences was easy as well. Mm, well, just that because I remember when I hearing that the mouth watering. So I remember that phrase. So for me was pretty easy. Well, maybe the another one was this one. Throw it all in a separate type of cakes. Yeah, that.
How much? That is not the third question. How much did you understand from the first listening of the audio?
In a percent, maybe 70%.
Maybe 70%. So you did the goal of the communicative skill. That's because you could understand the global idea from a speech.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Now, our third question is: what kind of activity could you propose to improve listening skills?
Oh, this is a pretty good question. Hmm. Well, what activity improve the listening?
Yeah.
Hmm, different to this exercise, right? Well, maybe I consider a really, really helpful um, activity to improve the listening is reading aloud. Maybe reading aloud a text, or maybe reading aloud a song, no singing, just a reading
Okay,
aloud.
that is more speaking. No.
Well, the idea is when you reading aloud, so you can hearing your pronunciation. That's it, the idea. And reading aloud, and you hearing your pronunciation, and you improve it. Because it's different if you reading a text in silence. So, but if you're reading aloud, maybe you can hearing your pronunciation and you can improve it, and maybe you can correct that mistakes.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna to make some points about it. Check this. Have you ever recorded yourself?
Oh, yes, of course, sir.
Okay, but reading aloud is not a listening activity. It's a speaking activity. You know why? Just because when you record yourself and when you listen to yourself, after that you say, "Oh my God, that's me. What a pity. I can't believe that's me." Yes.
Yep, yeah, yeah.
So uh, when you speak aloud, the listening goal is not done. That's because the brain doesn't know that that's your voice. Yes, your brain doesn't recognize it. The vocal
Oh,
sounds you make
uh,
with your speaking.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yes, yes, of course. So,
So
but maybe
we can
is
do an
weak.
example.
Maybe it's a mix. That's activity. So reading aloud, and I can record it that voice, and then check that voice, and I correct the mistakes.
Yeah, that's different.
Yep,
Yes,
yep,
different.
sir.
But you have to say, record yourself reading aloud. That's really different. And listening
Yeah,
again.
yes,
Yeah,
right.
so you can improve it. That's because you can correct mistakes and intonation and rhythm intonation.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so our fourth question is, how much important do you think is listening?
Oh well, I've considered both speaking and listening are pretty important, and listening is pretty important. So I always consider the speaking is an important skill we have to improve. But if you don't have the ability to listening correctly or perfectly, so you cannot give correct answers. So I mean, if you don't have that ability or that's a skill, if you don't improve that, so maybe you can give an incorrect answers, right? So or maybe you can understand a different idea, an incorrect idea, and that is no good in very formal cases or environments, because you have to receive a command and you don't have a correct listening skill. Maybe you can get some troubles.
Yeah, that's good. So you think that listening is more important than speaking or not?
Of course,
Okay. So now, now our five question that is really really weird, and it is related according to the answer you give it on the fourth question. Check out. Which is first, listening or speaking?
Listening, sir.
Why?
Uh, well, the human being born in a condition that with the mother has a baby inside the body, he is all the time listening. He's not speaking. He's just listening all the time. So as a human being, we all the time are listening. So and the first sense, maybe, and that we can develop it is that listening. So
And later speaking.
and later speaking, right? Because we imitation.
Yeah. So that's because our brain, our first stages of life, it who gives the ability to survive, developing some senses. Yes.
Mhm.
The first sense the human being develop is, which one
Listening.
is it? No listening.
The
Yes.
first sense.
Yeah, the first sense. Not
Mm,
talking about the topic from today. Just a question. Which is the first sense? Do you think?
uh, well, well, maybe the first one is the smell.
The smell?
Yeah, right.
Do you think it?
Yes, sir. I think that
Okay.
because I say that is for the experience for my wife because
Yeah.
when she was pregnant,
Yeah.
so she smells something. When she smells something, she looked to eat it. So
Yeah.
and I relate to that.
It's a pretty good experience that because when we have that experience closer as you got it and as I got it, we could reimagine. We could I don't know. That's because it's really weird when you have a son. That's because as a teacher you can control, you can interiorize some ideas, just like this that we are talking about.
Yeah.
You know what? But I disagree with you. According to the first sense that the human
Yeah.
being developed, yeah,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
is touching. Yes, it's the
I
sense.
told you. Really?
Yeah,
Mm,
sense of touching. Yes, you know what? That's because when your wife was pregnant, yes, the I don't know how do you say feto in English. The
uh,
well,
Let me. I'm gonna check with some Google.
yeah.
Fetus.
Okay, when the fetus in the inside the vientre, how do you say vientre? Man? Look for it.
Stomach.
So no, that is not his stomach.
Belly. A stomach as well.
How do you get
Stomach.
it? Stomach?
Um, yes, or belly.
Belly. Okay, when the fetus is moving in the belly, yes, you know what? Sometimes in your life as father, you were touching the belly, yes, and the fetus didn't move again. So the first sense is touching, yes, touching. When you touch your wife, she transmits that affection to the fetus,
Right.
and that is going that is the first stimulation that the human body receives. Yes, and it's the first connection in the brain. Yes, that's because
Mm,
if you have seen a fetus, it first creates the brain.
yeah,
And from the brain, it continues the body. Yes, it
yeah,
continues to the body. So the first sense, in my opinion, is touching. Later comes the other senses. Of course, the smell. Continue listening. Yes, that's because the fetus is going to react to feelings. For example, when the mother is sad, when the mother is angry, something like that, the fetus is going to internalize
yeah,
all those feelings. Yes, but it's very important to talk about what is the first input, yes, of the human brain to get an output. Yes, for example, check out this. Uh, Brain is like a bank. Yes, in a bank, you put money inside and later you get out money. Yes,
yeah,
it's something like that, input and output. But the most effective input that you can give to your brain, first of all, of course, is listening. Yes, first of all, is listening, and the brain connects with all the neurons and interacts, and later the output will be speaking.
you're
Yes.
right. Yeah,
For example, in other cases, in other English skills, reading and writing, which is first?
reading,
The
reading as well.
reading.
Yep,
Yes, reading. That's because the human brain most first of all recognizes the characters and later to make a joining from those characters and later recognize reading and later after the reflective thought, it's gonna give right. Yes, so it's very important to recognize which are the first inputs for the brain that it could transmit all the kind of topics or the kind of skills to our
yep,
brain and to develop another ideas like that. So, uh, about the task you got to your partners because
yep.
they couldn't assist is that here there are the audio links and you will send them to Stella and to Jessica. You will say, hey, we developed this in this session. Here you got your audio, and here you got to develop this activity. And later in the next session, the tutor is gonna make you some questions. Yes, you will explain them. You will explain them what we did today.
Okay, so okay, perfect. So
Okay. Now, as a conclusion, as always I do you have any ideas, suggestions, recommendations?
uh, well, as a suggestion, well, I would like this kind of activities if you have that opportunity to repeat that. So it's pretty good for us because, well, we practice a listening skill and as well we practice a speaking skill. And believe it's pretty important to share some feelings and some thinking about this topic because we maybe get out of the topic, and we start to spin a lot of thinking, maybe there's some thoughts, and it's pretty important to share that kind of feeling. Was pretty good. I like this kind of activity. Thank you so much. I
Okay,
really
and
appreciate it.
happy for reading. I guess that we could do it again. I guess that we could do it again. That's because it's very important to make this kind of exercises like dictation because when you go to school, remember that we had to write a lot in our notebooks, and why not to do it in English? Yes, and you know
Yeah,
what? When you master the English language, when you control your level, you could think in English, just
yeah,
not speak. Yes, when you think in English while you're speaking, I guess that you had gotten to master the any kind of language that you're learning.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
because it's very
Of course, we need to improve like a native speakers, but it just to improve some slang, and maybe like at this one, it's just you just start to use that kind of slang or idiomatic phrases, so maybe sounds more like a native speaker.
yeah, more like a native speaker. Just because when we were starting, we, for in my case, I was speaking in English and in my brain I was translating. Yes,
Right? Yes, 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 yes,
and I
yes.
guess that is a process that any kind of English speaker must, as a second language, must do. Yes,
Yes.
because it will give you the ability to know what are you talking about. But later, I guess that you get the ability to speak English normally and speak it and thinking in English and nothing like that. Turn on the English and the Spanish and the Spanish switch. Yeah, it's like a light bulb. You can turn on this English and you can turn on the Spanish. It's something like that. It's really
Yeah.
funny when I do that.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I agree. In fact, so I think that we can start when we can to think in a target language. So I I I feel that we can improve our mother language. Uh, I mean, so maybe if we made a relation between how I speak before and how I speak now, and I can notice that I can improve in my mother tongue. I don't know, maybe because when you learn a second language or a foreign language, and you notice that some things, some things that maybe you never have the opportunity to see about your own language, because maybe we never pay attention about how we speak. We make some communication, we make a conversation, but we never had the opportunity to start and say, "Oh my goodness, I am talking perfectly. I am talking okay and using a correlate structure of the sentences." Maybe we don't think about that, but when we start to learn a foreign language, we notice that.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's a good opinion that you have given.
Yeah,
So, Orlando, do you have any suggestion or recommendation from our class? You did it. Yes,
yes,
you
yes,
did it.
yes.
So much. The suggestion is that if we could do it again. Yes,
Yeah.
and we are going to do it again, but there are not going to be speech on YouTube. The speech you are going to do it. Yes,
Oh my
and
goodness.
your partners are going to make the writing phase. Yes, the
Okay.
writing part.
Okay.
Yes, we
Perfect.
will, we will have a lot of fun in our next session. So please contact your opponents and give them the summary about what we did today, and they have to give their product on the next web session.
Okay, sir.
Hey, Orlando, nice to see you today, man.
Nice to see you, sir.
Have a
Thank you
nice
so
night.
much.